Here are 5 different ways to use adjustment layers in Final Cut Pro that will change the way you edit. Number 1. Create custom transitions. Let's add an adjustment layer to the timeline. I'll select it and hit Ctrl D to change the duration to 1 second and 00 frames. With my playhead at the beginning of the adjustment layer, I'll press the plus key, type 12 and hit return to move forward 12 frames. That's the halfway point of this adjustment layer, and I'll hit M to create a marker. I'll line that marker up to the cut and add an effect. Let's go with the built-in crosshatch effect. With my playhead in the middle, I'll set the intensity to 100 and add a keyframe. And then I'll check this desaturate box. I'll also set the sepia amount to 0. I'll go to the beginning of the clip and set the intensity to 0, and then I'll go to the end of the clip and set the intensity to 0 as well. This is what you get. The cool thing is, you can stack other effects to this transition too. So let's add a handheld effect. With my playhead at the marker, I'll set the shakiness to 100 and the distance to about 200, creating keyframes for both parameters. I'll go to the beginning and I'll set them both to 0, and then I'll do the same at the end. I can also right-click and rename this layer to Shaky Crosshatch, and then Alt or Option click and drag this adjustment layer to duplicate that transition anywhere in my edit. Number 2. Scale multiple shots over time. I had these clips from a long GoPro clip, and I cut out some bits to show how we passed the time on the train. It looks like this. But I want the clip to slowly scale in. I can't just create scale keyframes on one clip to scale it up and copy and paste those attributes using the shortcut Command-Shift-V, because each clip will start with the scale set to 100%, so each cut will jump. So let's remove all of those scale keyframes using Command-Shift-X, and instead, let's pop an adjustment layer over the top of these clips, retime it to match the length of these clips, and then I can create scale keyframes on the adjustment layer. Now when I play it back, I have my jump cuts, but without a jump in the scale of the clip. If you don't already have an adjustment layer in Final Cut Pro, I'll link to one down below that's free that you can download right now. Number 3. Create cool effects. If you want to create this effect of coming out of a bad TV effect into normal footage, what you might normally do is make cuts on your clip and copy and paste the bad TV effect to alternating clips, which is fine, but if you decide to replace that shot, you have to do the cuts again on the new clip and copy and paste those effects. But with an adjustment layer, it's much faster. I already have the bad TV effect applied to this adjustment layer, and I'll set my playhead to the end of the clip. I usually start at the end because I can keep my adjustment layer selected as I make blade cuts with the shortcut Command-B. It's just a little time-saving hack. So I'll use my left arrow key to move 2 frames back, make a cut, another 2 frames, make another cut. I can mix it up and sometimes go with 3 or 4 frames, making a few cuts as I go. I'll select each alternating cut and hit V to disable the clip. I'll hit Command G to group them together, and then I can move this around anywhere. And it looks like this. If I want to replace this shot with a different shot, I can pull that in and hit Command Alt and the down arrow to replace it on the primary storyline, and my effect is done. Now of course, you could add keyframes on the intensity parameter and avoid having to make cuts on the adjustment layer. Certainly a neater way to do it, but it's a little bit more time consuming than just making the cuts in the adjustment layer. Number 4. Make gradual changes over time. Let's assume you have a longer edit and you want the video to start out in black and white and slowly come to life in full color. Trim the adjustment layer to the length of the edit, go to the beginning and totally desaturate the clip. Add a keyframe and go to the end and double click the saturation slider to set it back to the middle. And it looks like this. Number 5. Crop for letterbox. If you are letterboxing your footage, instead of applying it to every clip and using the offset slider to reframe your shots, rather apply the letterbox plugin to an adjustment layer that's trimmed to the length of your video. Then, if there are any shots that need reframing, you can just select the clip underneath and adjust the Y position to reframe it. I hope you found these adjustment layer tips helpful. and that you can use them in your future videos. Don't forget to click on the link down below to get your free adjustment layer.